up guys, Adam Bishop here again. Just going to go through a couple of different things in terms of grip. So loads of different things come with grip, whether it's crushing grip, squeeze grip, holding grip, grip endurance, etc. So we should have a quick go through the different types of grip and some different exercises that I'll use to train. Okay, so the first type of grip we're going to talk about is the crushing grip. So most people have seen a classic gripper, whether it's bought from, you know, like Argos or in a stocking at Christmas time, or a more serious thing like this, the Captain's a Crush. There are people who train their whole lives just to close some of these grippers. They go up to like 4, and there's only a few people on the planet who've closed them, and they are their own sport in their own right. But they are known as a crushing grip, obviously, for closing your hand. Whether they have that much relevance in strongman is to be debated, but I think they're a good training tool just to kind of work on kind of finger strength, especially when you're doing some repetitions. All right, so you can set the gripper in your hand like that, and effectively you're just trying to close that gripper as hard as you can each time. Okay, that unfortunately that's just a guide, so that's not even a tough one. Alright, but you can start off with like a number 1. So number 1 is quite an easy gripper as well. So you're looking to sit in your hand, squeeze as hard as you can, and you're making sure that it's closed as tightly as possible. I've got a couple of these and going up to like 2, 2.5. Maybe I'll chuck some stuff up on my Instagram, closing them once I find where they've gone after the move. But yeah, crushing grip, maybe a good training tool, good for kind of like some endurance of the muscles, but I'm not sure how much relevance it will have for strongman. So the most important aspect for most of us when training grip is going to be thumb strength. If you imagine when you're gripping a barbell, your thumb is going to be that kind of weakest link that's going to lock down those 2 fingers. Most of the time, especially in strongman, we're not going to be able to hook grip. Those who don't know, hook grip is where you're wrapping your thumb around the bar and then locking that thumb down with the fingers. It's technically stronger, it's just painful, and a lot of the time, a lot of us don't have big enough hands to be able to do it on some of the thicker barbells we use in strongman. So to train kind of thumb strength grip, you've got a couple of different options. One of the best options I've actually found is trying to train that thumb grip on as many different movements as possible. So any kind of dumbbell work I do where I'm kind of gripping on back work maybe, or curls, all those kind of smaller movements, I'll tend to use a fat grip. That just wraps around the barbell and effectively makes the barbell or dumbbell and makes it a lot thicker. It makes you train your thumb a lot more, trying to squeeze as much as possible, and obviously it's tougher for the fingers as well. So these are a great tool for training your grip. They're pretty inexpensive, buy them online, and they fit on most dumbbells, most barbells. In terms of kind of competition specific training for strongman, obviously the 2 biggest things we have that kind of test the grip the most is probably like a grip endurance, so holding onto an object for as long as possible. That might be a car, for a car deadlift hold. It might be the Hercules hold. Most of you have seen a lot this year at Giants live shows. I haven't got a Hercules hold implement in the barn, unfortunately. I will go and train on it as much as I possibly can, whether I get up and train on the competition kit or some other location that have it. But one thing I found, or I've been working on recently, is just doing kind of a banded hold in the barn. So I'll go with like a green band here, carabiner, and I'll actually use a Rolling Thunder or a similar. It's a slightly smaller version of the Rolling Thunder handle, but you could just use a normal kind of D-ring on this. I'm just using this to try and test my grip a little bit more, so I don't have to use so much band tension. What I'll do is I'll tend to step out, grab onto the rack here, and do kind of like 1 minute to 90-second holds, just with the handle like that. Once again, no chalk. I find this kind of really taxes my forearm massively, as well as working on that thumb strength. And the other one is farmer's walk. So farmer's walk is obviously both a speed event, it's usually a race, and also a grip event, because if your grip's not solid on those walks, it's going to really struggle. So I found the best way to train these is actually train the event itself. So farmer's walk with different size handles. I'll do a lot of kind of farmer's walks, whether it's with a very thin handle or a thicker kind of 32mm handle. I'll just do various runs. So it might be I'm going every minute on the minute with a 10 or 15 or 20 meter farmer's walk run with varying weights, or I might do a walk for distance, just focusing purely on the grip. But I'll keep mixing it up. I'll train different grips, different farmer's walks. In terms of Hercules hold, I've found that doing dead hangs has been quite effective for me. Just go with my body weight hanging off a rack with either a neutral grip or a pronated grip, and just holding body weight for maybe a minute, maybe longer. I try not to use chalk on these as much as possible, just to kind of really test my grip a bit, and I'm doing those quite regularly. I'll do them before every session. I also found some benefits in terms of my overhead positioning for log press by including these on my press days, especially before I press. So yeah, great movement to include for both your grip and for your kind of overhead position for log press. Okay, so another great way of kind of training your thumb strength is doing some various kind of like deadlifts or pickups with various different implements for your grip. So the first one I've got on here is a rolling thunder handle. So the rolling thunder handle is effectively a spinning grip. It's usually 2 inches in diameter. This is a copy, so it's not the official rolling thunder handle. What you want to do with this is just reach down, pin your thumb as much as you can, and then what you're going to do is just deadlift the weight up to a stand and then drop it back down. Okay, so the idea is the handle spins, so it makes it a lot more difficult. I actually think that Mark Felix still has the world record for this, around 140 kilos. Mark, if you see this and that's not right, let me know, mate. But you know, my best is a mere 100 kilos. I did that on the Rolling Thunder handle down at Rob Frampton's gym near Portsmouth. But it's a great kind of way of just training that thumb strength. It's a bit different. And I'll tend to include it, you know, something like this at least once a week in my training, whether it's with the Rolling Thunder handle or a different grip. You've also got a kind of like simulation of a hub grip lift where you're pinning your thumb as hard as you can to a kind of a cylinder object like this and picking that up, or like you've seen before, the fence post grip, which we'll definitely be doing at the end of the video, so make sure you watch out for me versus Rob versus Terry versus Sai on a fence post lift, a little grip challenge. So when I actually started training Strongman, you know, it was back in the 105s, I never had to train my grip that much, you know, direct grip work as an additional add-on, because I was doing farmer's walk every weekend, all frame carry, but mainly I was deadlifting without straps, which is a big change now. Obviously the move to using straps for everything, and a bicep tear as well means that I don't do mixed grip deadlifts anymore. It's a big difference, I've noticed, you know, training my grip from when I was just doing a lot of kind of deadlift work without the straps. It made a huge difference to my grip, so my advice to people out there is try and maintain your grip on deadlifts and other rows and seated rows and dumbbell rows, barbell rows. Try and use it without straps as much as you can to develop your grip that way. It saves a lot of time and effort having to add in some additional grip work. So I've tried to train grip as much as possible. I'll train it every single session. I'll choose maybe 1 or 2 different grip exercises to do, whether that's kind of a wrist roller or the pickups or some gripper work or the dead hangs. I'll try and get them in every single session. The reason I've done this is obviously looking at some of the guys who've had the best grips in the world. Obviously they've got big hands. They also use their hands a lot in everyday life. You know, a guy called Mike Burke, you guys will remember, Strongman, fantastic grip. Huge hands, but also worked as a roofer. He worked in construction, so he was using his hands the whole time, gripping various things. And some of the guys that I've met who have been working with their hands during the day have always got great grips, even if they've never trained it. So I think it's important for those smaller muscles, especially the grip, to train it as often as you can. But just bear in mind that most people who I've spoke to have always said that their grip feels trashed if they train it the whole time. But once they've taken maybe a week or 2 weeks off, their grip feels really, really strong. So if you've got a competition coming up, it might be that you're going to take maybe a week off or 2 weeks off your grip training, if in that competition you've got farmer's walk, Hercules hold, etc. So that gives you a little insight to the work I'm doing for my grip now. Hope you've enjoyed that little kind of look into some different grip stuff, maybe some of those things you guys hadn't seen before. Comment below, let me know if there's any other things I should be looking at in my grip or anything you found really helped your guys' grip training. There's a load of grip geeks out there, so I'd love to get your views on it. Watch out now, a little bonus vid. We're going to be going off on a lift off, a grip off with the fence post, so enjoy that. 25 as a base? Yeah, shall we? Yeah. Around a Vanco? Yeah. Oh. Posh. Oh. Just watching. Yeah, because anyway, I can't. Should that be stand up? Yeah, you think it's a strap? Yeah. I think it's a strap. Yeah. Nice. feel real easy. You have like a kilo or something, and it just doesn't fucking move.
Minimal amounts.
Go and tell. Another grip win. I thought you hurt yourself then. When you jumped off there.
Just being a fan.
Win. Good job, everyone.